Cut. All right. Hell yeah. We're back, puppy.
Kind of nervous.
Back.
It's been like
After a much needed break,
yeah,
we're back with another one. So
like, it's hard being famous, right?
yeah, that's what they say.
It's hard being famous.
That's what they say. I don't know. Some people make it look easy, but we're back with another one. We took an important break. Things happen that are unexpected in life, and you got to roll with the punches. But it's good to be back.
So my son got in an accident January 6th. We put out the notice. Renee wrote the stuff up. The support was absolutely just mind blowing. I can't tell you how many times I teared up just seeing the support coming out to us. But the task at hand was, how's my son? And it's something I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah.
Traumatic brain injury. They were saying you probably want to have your son back for 9 months to a year. And even then, there's still going to be little, some gaps in where he was at mentally. Then 2 months later, they released him to go home. A couple weeks after that, they released him. He just got released to go back to work and drive again, which is They said part time, but he's working. He's working full time. What's he gonna do? Sit at home?
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Absolutely amazing recovery. We credit we started getting. Remember, I told you about those peptides. That there was C-Max that we were giving them, BPC 157, which is called the Wolverine peptide. A few other things, a bunch of shakes of nutrients, and of course the therapy along the way, and he popped up.
You showed me some of the therapy he was doing. It was just, to me, it was just like unbelievable to see the progress he was making. But man, he was in good hands. He had some good doctors, some good nurses, some good therapists. He had your family was very very involved. And I know it was tough to see how difficult it was for you guys. But hey, at the end of the day,
the good memories to block out.
Yeah,
I can talk to him every day again. We're all good.
So when you talk about
appreciate all the support. You have no idea.
It was crazy to see how quickly people were willing to offer support, and it was that's awesome. That's the thing I love about small communities is like people want to help.
Yeah,
people want to help, and they did. So shout out to all the people that send their support in whichever way we could. Because it worked, and here we are. We're back with another one talking about.
Let's do an episode.
You mentioned brain injuries and the effects of different things on the brain, and we got to talk about just brain stuff kind of get to, and then I ran across an article on Psychology Today, and it talked about politics.
How politics or why politics?
How it can make us dumb.
Why politics makes us dumber.
So once we started talking about, so we almost ready to come back. I was like, hey, no rush. We started kind of looking at some topics, and then it just kind of lent itself to this topic because of the nature of the political landscape that we often find ourselves and kind of see things and hear people talk and everything. Yeah. So
both left wing and right wing.
Yeah, and me, I mean, I think it's a general rule, especially in a Thanksgiving or a family guys, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, right? Because you're going to find yourself in some conversations that often are uncomfortable or just kind of lead to some controversy or whatever.
And then the arguments in general, like you and I, this is what we do for a living, history, politics. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying we're the all, the end all experts.
No.
I mean, there's college professors, there's doctors, there's people that nerd out all day and stuff. We
is there really experts though?
Apparently more than most, because sometimes I hear arguments like, "Hey, what? You're missing boom, boom, boom." You go down the line. So I always feel like the more information you start to gather, you start moving more towards the middle. There's people right of center, left of center, and we always have good discussions on this, right?
So, but it kind of lent itself because of not just because of what's happening politically here. Or around the country, around the world, but there was a recent a conversation came up about a new club on campus, and I don't
Man,
want to. I'm not. I'm just gonna bring it up. There's a new club on campus,
dude, this
whatever.
blew my mind.
And I had a conversation with a student who came to me asking me like, Mr. Castillo, like there's a new club. We don't agree with it. We want to shut it down. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Tell me why. And to make a long story short, I said, listen, it's okay to agree.
They just
to disagree.
disagreed with the club, right?
I
That's
said,
it. And they wanted to shut it down.
I said, you just have to be careful because you're going to set a precedent for any future clubs that others might not agree with, but are they breaking the rules? Are they interfering in the educational process? Are they hurting anybody? I was like, no, like everybody has the right to opinion. Even if it's a wrong opinion in your in your eyes, they still have the right to think what they want, whether you like it or not. So
there are limitations of free speech, and
yes.
There's three of them. One is you can't violate local obscenity. Another one is it can't be based on a lie, and the third one is obscenity, lie.
Don't put people's lives in danger. Don't create a state of chaos.
Can't lead to violence. There it is.
Yeah.
Can't lead to violence. Don't violate local obscenity, and it can be based on a lie. But when it goes a little deeper when it comes to school.
Yeah, school settings are a little bit different.
Tinker versus Des Moines, 1969. It can disrupt the learning environment, and this club passes all these tests.
Yep.
So constitutionally, yeah, they have to be, whether you agree with it or not. Constitutionally, they should be able.
So my suggestion was, listen,
it's great for the kids.
If you don't like it,
it's great exercise for the kids.
If you don't like it, take your money.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I earned it. If you don't like it,
bad day at the track.
Start a new club, or not, or ignore it. Like that's the beauty of a democracy. It's like you don't have to agree with it. You can respectively disagree.
Voltaire once said, "What did he say?" He said, "I do not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." I love that quote.
And I feel like anybody who knows me, like I've kind of disengaged recently with politics for several reasons.
For mental health reasons.
For that, especially, I think I hit my breaking point, like pandemic. Yeah. It was just this and that, and I'm like, what?
It went hard, man.
It went. I mean, it was too much. It was too much, and so I was like, you know what? Fauci. I found myself like just stressing too much over these things. I'm like, these are out of my control. Yeah. So I said, boom, take it out. So the
magic phrase, this is out of my control.
So then we found this article, right? And it was like, oh, this is perfect. Because I think we're all guilty of several of the things they talk about. Like we're all guilty of certain things. And some concepts more than others. But I feel like more recently than not, I found myself like, I'm going to listen to you. And even if I don't agree with you, I'm like, cool, whatever. I'm okay with your opinion because it's not getting in the way of what I'm trying to do. It's not, hurting anybody. It's your opinion. As long as it don't hurt nobody, you're good. So we get to this article and it says why politics makes us dumb, right? Yeah. And it was interesting because it kind of highlighted several concepts in psychology. Yeah. Right.
The big issue at heart is, we grew up the 80s, 90s, whatever, and news used to be pretty mainstream, like towards the middle. And then Roger Ailes came along in the late 90s and he said, you know what? We got an untapped market. And this is a conservative crowd like middle America. So he created this thing called Fox News. And they went straight off right wing. And guess what? Another one formed called CNN. MSNBC is more hardcore left wing. Yeah. And what do? They construct their biases all day. And now we have social media. Oh, it's even worse.
I think social media
because it just feeds you.
It just feeds you what you want, right? Yeah. And that's one of the things that it talks about is that it's just reinforcing your own ideas. Yeah. It's not presenting any opposing views, which is, in my opinion, it's important to expose the opposite views so that way you can kind of evaluate and make a decision on certain things or whatever. But that's just the rational side of me speaking, right? Because sometimes we find ourselves, oh yeah, for sure.
Your feed is going to.
And if you have conversations with people that agree with you 100%, you're never going to really give yourself an opportunity to understand why others feel differently, right? And so, and that's where our emotions on certain things tend to cloud our logic. Yeah. And I feel like at some point we're all guilty of it. I know I am.
I get
sometimes.
emotional.
So emotions can take over your rationality, and that's where we kind of become very extreme on certain ideas.
We
right?
both have our triggers.
So I think we highlighted 3 main points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first one had to do with identity,
Mhm.
right? And politics, it said that politics can hijack our identity to protect the group that we feel like we belong to. And it doesn't matter if it's inaccurate or there's not a lot of truth to it.
Uh-huh.
We want to protect our views because we feel like we tend to belong to something.
Uh-huh.
Am I right?
Yeah.
And somebody said it's kind of like being a Raiders fan. It's like every year they suck, but no matter what, you're gonna be there. You can support, and you're gonna try to find reasons why
around this
they're gonna get back on track.
Around this community is a constant Raiders versus Chargers argument. Him and I, Dodgers versus Padres argument. Even though the Dodgers might not value as much as I do, but yeah, we talked about it. And who's better, Jordan or LeBron? People have chosen sides, and their feed and their social media is gonna be on a loop of why Jordan's the best, or why LeBron's the best, why Jordan's terrible, why LeBron's terrible, why the Dodgers. You get the idea. And we have picked a tribe, and we don't want to be left alone.
Tribe, and I think that's a very important term. We're very tribal. We want to belong to something or to a group of people.
The article talks about that with human evolution. We're out on the pasture, 100,000 years ago, whatever. And if we disagree with the tribe, then the tribe's gonna oust us, and we can't survive on our own. We need help. So it's like a human instinct. It is a survival instinct for us to click with the group.
And I think the term was a social identity theory, that people define themselves based on group membership. And I find it interesting when people, because I've seen it before, where people will step out of the typical views that they have and kind of maybe question something and be like, wait, what? No, that's wrong. No. And it creates a little, I don't know. And I don't want to say it always creates a division, but a little tiff between groups, because it's like, no, you're not allowed to think that way. I was like, well, why not? And one should always question, is this the correct view for me? Right. And before coming to a conclusion, is like, is there anything else that might prove me wrong? And we don't ask ourselves that question. No, why? Because we're stubborn. We want to stick to our guns, and
we want our tribe to survive.
Because
I'm part of this tribe. I'm part of this group.
Yeah, and so this theory of social identity,
subconsciously,
it encourages loyalty over logic, like being a Raider fan or whatever.
Southwest versus Central. Right. I preach this every day. I talk all trash about Central. Why we're superior for going to this school, and why? Because I picked the tribe. I'm in it.
Right? So people tend to ignore logic sometimes, or even facts, to defend their team or defend their political party or their political views. Like, and it was interesting. Recently, there's a conversation I was overhearing about gas prices, and somebody said, "I find it so funny and kind of kind of dumb." They said that people blame the governor of California for gas prices, and he said the governor didn't start this war, and he was saying that. And somebody was talking about, I was like, well, in California, the gas prices are this, and that, like $6 a gallon. And over here in this state, gas prices are $3.50, just for an example.
And there's a lot of missing variables.
And I was like, I'm not saying that's not true, he said, but you have to also keep in mind the minimum wage in California is like $16.50.
Yeah.
And the minimum wage in this state is like $7.50. So in reality, over here in this state, half their minimum wage is a gallon of gas, and over here it's like a third of it, maybe almost a little bit more than a third.
Minimum wage, teacher wages, correctional officer wages.
So it's like, well, there's kind of a disparity there, and it's like, and another person who was in that conversation said, it's like, yeah, well, I wouldn't blame him for the gas prices, but I would blame him for other things. And right there and then I was like, there it is. So it's kind of like trying to justify your views about somebody or a party by finding something else to like sort of pick out or just to not agree, just to not agree. And I was like, okay, and that kind of highlights certain biases
It's
that
like
we
the
have.
whack-a-mole. You hit that one, that didn't work.
Yeah.
There's another, and you
So
go off topic, go and interfere in another direction.
and right there it told me, okay, no matter what, they're gonna be loyal towards this group than this group, even though he wanted to agree with that point.
Yeah.
But he, instead of saying, yeah, you're right, he said, yeah, but this.
So there you go. Identity protective cognition. You're hitting right on it. Core idea. We don't just think to be right. We think to belong.
Yeah.
Boom. And you know, and we. It's funny because we went to his Myers-Briggs personality and my Myers-Briggs personality, and we were both guilty of that. That you know that our personalities are guilty of that. We can do this. This could happen to us subconsciously without us even realizing we're doing it. It's easy to slip into it, right?
And that kind of leads to the second key point in the article. It talks about cheerleading.
Ooh.
So partisan cheerleading,
not rooting for the football team,
leads us to knowingly defend false claims to signal loyalty. We're gonna cheer on our team no matter what, right? Instead of looking at the facts, it's like loyalty.
We're not trying to be right. We're trying to win for our side.
Yes, it doesn't matter. We want to win because we don't like to be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's one sign of a rational thinker. Is like, you know what? You're right. I was wrong. And I always tell people it's okay to change your mind. Especially if you realize that the idea that you were following or the idea that you held is not entirely representative of what you believe in or what you feel is true.
And in the classroom, you know, people ask me, the adults outside of education ask me, you know, modern day, everything's so politically polarized.
Everything, yeah.
How do you teach this in the classroom? And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to alienate kids. You know, they're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And I was that age once. And I know once I learned a little thing, I wanted to fly off the cuff in my beliefs. So I'll never trash like one side or the other because I don't want to alienate a kid. Because if you alienate the kid comes from a certain home. Now the kid is either going to defend his home or go home questioning their home. Oh, where'd you learn that? From Santana. You know, so I always tell people I go straight to the Constitution, and the other one I teach is economics, and I go straight to math equations, just showing how in the past what things can move an economy and what can hold an economy back. And I never directly address Trump was wrong or Biden's wrong, or if I say Trump was wrong, I will try to purposely go and say Biden was also wrong because of this, or Kamala was also, you know, something like that.
And that's our job, is to be objective.
Yeah.
I mean, it's where we have our own personal political views and views on certain things, but in the classroom, I do my very best. And till this day, if a kid comes, a former student comes, hey, you know, who you vote for? I still will say, that's for me to know and not for you. Because I don't want you to think or believe that I'm trying to influence you a certain direction. I'm going to give you the tools to think for yourself because we don't want you to be cheerleaders politically, right? And the definition of this theory of cheerleading is a form of motivated reasoning where people evaluate info like a fan cheerleading for their team. Not like an objective judge. So basically, like, no matter what, you're going to cheer, whether you realize that they messed up or they made the wrong decision or made a choice that had a negative impact on a large group of people. It's okay to say, you know what, that's wrong. Because facts are one thing, truth is another. Because what you think is true might not be true for me.
Yeah.
Facts are facts. Be objective, not subjective. Be objective.
Yeah, there's certain personalities that people, and it's very rare when you could find somebody to go like back and forth with in a healthy way. Usually, people are asking me certain things, like they'll question me on my education. Oh man, are you teaching the real history or whatever? And or what was it? If I'm talking about fascism, they'll try. Oh, that's your definition of fascism? Like, listen, you work at a bank, you do finance. If I have a finance question, I'll go to you. And if you have a political question, hey, feel free to ask me. And you know, it doesn't mean I'm right, but I definitely have a little more background in it. It doesn't mean I'm an expert, whatever. But I can feel, and if you don't respect all the background, all the work I've done, that just tells me that you just flat out don't respect me, and that's okay. Nobody has to respect me.
Yeah.
But are we talking to discuss, or are you talking just to show me something?
And that's I think in the personality comparison that you made is that one of the things that I know I'm kind of guilty of in the past is that once I come to my conclusion on something, I'm set, and then I find reasons to justify my conclusion. And instead of evaluating things first, taking your time, and then come to a conclusion. But one question that and it kind of brought up in the article, and it's kind of one of the tips that it ends with is like, once you come to a conclusion, ask yourself, what would change your mind?
Yeah.
What would be another conclusion that might change your mind? And what you're doing there is you're allowing yourself the opportunity to make a more balanced decision, right? Instead of saying, oh, I came to a conclusion, now I got to prove it. Well, how about you go through the process and look at the facts, look at the evidence to lead you to a conclusion? That would be a more healthy way, more rational way, and a more balanced way to go about it.
And if you pick a political side, you pick, let's pretend like this during the Biden administration and you support Biden. Can you criticize your own leader, the person that you're cheerleading for? You should be able to criticize your own leader.
I remember saying this in the past, like when Obama won the election, there's a lot of excitement, this campaign message about having hope
and change,
especially during the economy, that recession that we hit. And it said, hey, it's okay to criticize the person you voted for, because remember, they're still a person, they're still a human being, they're going to make mistakes, and you want them to be better all the time. Nothing is 100% gold. Like everything that they do, you should question it, regardless if you're affiliated to that party or not. And people don't. It's like, no, they can't do no wrong.
I remember I got caught up with when Obama got elected. Like, just do that full of swag.
Oh yeah,
he's super bright.
He was charismatic, and that's what drew him so many people. But there's more to having charisma.
Like, the dude has a Jewish doctor in law, which pretty much a doctor in law. Like, dude's super bright, right? And then I remember I told an old teacher, my old coach, Swearingen, late great Coach Swearingen, right? And we're like, hey, Coach, Obama won. What do you think? This quote, Nick, ain't shit gonna change. Like, dude, but it gave me perspective. Like, you know what? This fool's right. He had
experience.
But
it goes back to the tribalism, and maybe it's because evolution forced us to, like, your survival was higher when you grouped yourself with people and you hunted and gathered or whatever, and so we became very tribal in aspect out of survival, and it just kind of lent itself to other things as we evolve. But I want to get into the third and important concept that talked about motivated reasoning. And motivated reasoning basically is just it's a theory that, I'm trying to think exactly how to say this. We want to justify our beliefs first, and then construct logic out instead of the other way around.
This is right here how people selectively seek out information. Oh God, can't read.
No, I got it.
Interpreting, reasoning the.
Oh, it's right here. Where we begin with the conclusion we want, and then work backward to assemble a set of arguments to support. So, what do we want to get out of this? I want this. Okay, that's my conclusion, and then look for things that will help to back it up and justify it. Instead of, again, looking at the facts, looking at information to lead us to a conclusion. Motivated reasoning, where we start with the conclusion and then go backwards.
We create this tunnel vision where opposing arguments do not even seem plausible, and it's easy to do. Why is it easy to do? Because they're human. Yeah. We're still evolving.
Yeah, and this is part of the political behavior that we see all the time, is that people don't want to be wrong, or people don't want to feel like they don't want to feel dumb about their choices. Yeah. And so it's almost like as if we're stubborn to the possibility of changing our mind. Yeah. And I always tell like my students, like, hey, just remember, how you think right now doesn't necessarily mean you're going to think the same way in 20 years. But why? Because life experiences are going to mold you.
Older people slip into become more conservative over time.
I think that's a natural thing. Not for everybody.
It's not universal. No.
But people in certain aspects, not everybody, but it happens a lot where you become a little bit more conservative because you become more old school, and then there's a new school of thinking that comes along, and all of a sudden you're outdated. Like for example, we might be considered old school, and kids remind me all the time. Students like, man, teacher, you're old. I'm like, why do you say that? Well, you're born in the 1900s. I'm like, well, when you say it that way, you know,
but
I guess you're right. I was born in the 1900s, but
I remember going to college and you run into people, and this is the first time you really start learning some things that, because back then, elementary and high school it was all a fairy tale, Martin Luther King Jr. and Lincoln freed the slaves. When you start learning like deeper meanings inside how these events happen, it becomes way more fun. So you're learning cool stuff in college, but the first thing you read, I learned something, and then you want to go out and spit it, but you're lacking a lot of perspective, right? The nuance. You're lacking a lot of it, but we're all guilty of it in college. Learn the first new thing, and you're out shouting it. Next thing you know, you're arguing in the hall, and you're lacking a lot of information.
Right? Yeah. So I think it's, and we kind of mentioned already, social media just kind of like adds more fuel to the fire. Because and people need to remember that social media is only feeding us what the algorithm, is picking up on. You click on this, boom, all of a sudden you're gonna start seeing ads on that. You click on that, boom, you're gonna start seeing these types of material. And social media is only reinforcing the things that you already believe in. It's not giving you an opportunity to seek opposite points of view. And so
feeds your opinion on a loop over and over.
And it doesn't enhance your ability to think critically.
So if you hear people that are more liberal, if you talk to them enough, hear their arguments, and if they just listen to liberal stuff, liberal news, whatever, you're going to hear similar arguments. But you're going to talk to this person, this person, this person. You're going to hear a lot of similar things. You're like, wait, what the hell? But on the other side, it's going to be the same thing, but the other way around. Like I liked how they highlight right here. Party identity often outweighs any attempt to an objective truth, no matter whether the reporting is for CNN or Fox News. And it either throws a spin in there later how social media is even worse, right?
So when I started taking a step back from
ratings over everything.
Thank you. Ratings. So when I started taking a step back from really just following the news, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick this story or this topic, and I want to see what other networks say about it. And it was like here, and over here was over there, and I was just like, holy crap, this is like not even. They're not even hiding it, and it was just like, you know what? They're not even being objective. Why? Because they want people to emotionally get involved in this. Because the more emotional the viewers get, increases the ratings. And it leads me to the what was it? The slogan: "If it bleeds, it leads." The juicier the story, the more dramatic, the more people are willing to watch. And that's what mainstream media does: is they want you to watch it. Because the more you watch it, the more ratings it gets.
And it gives us this tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And then you start confronting experts and tell them that they don't know anything because they're not thinking exactly what you're thinking.
And all of a sudden now we're experts on everything because we saw one thing about that. Right. Instead of like looking at different feeds or looking at maybe even more independent outlets. But I saw it on YouTube News or whatever. I'm just like, you got to be more critical about your news, like the information you get from news, because you got to remember they need your attention to get ratings so that they make a profit. And that's not bashing one outlet or another. It's that's just the nature of it. And gone are the days of Walter Cronkite when he just told you the news. It was boring. It was flat, but it's what it was.
Might have been by a certain way, but it was more towards the middle.
Yeah, and there's different types of biases.
Not as exciting, right? Anchorman 2, Ron Burgundy. They were trying to beat
best news anchor in history,
Jack Lame. They're trying to beat his ratings. This guy was just golden boy, shining, attractive dude, and then he's doing prime time, and then Ron Burgundy's doing the night shift, and they made a bet who's going to get better ratings. Obviously, the night shift's going to lose.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there coming up with a plan, like, oh man, how can we beat this guy? And then Ron Burgundy finally slams his hand. He says, "Why do we have give them the news they need to hear? Why can't we give them the news they want to hear?"
Yeah.
And that right there,
genius,
is modern news.
Yep.
And with all the crap on the screen and showing
breaking news and tickers. And why? Because it's instant. And I think because
feeds
of
my ADD too, right?
plus with the age of communication improving, like we get things instantly. The moment someplace gets bombed, we're gonna find out almost instantly.
Yeah.
And so in the end, the article kind of like says, well, what can you do to sort of prevent yourself from falling into this or falling into that?
Yeah, so give us suggestions, right?
Yeah, some suggestions. So one of the things that it mentions is like kind of distance yourself a little bit or cut back on the amount of partisan media that you engage with, where if you take breaks from it, you know, it'll kind of limit the amount of negative influence you might have. So that's one. Social media, again, also watch it with a critical eye. Is whatever you see on social media, take a step back and say, well, what would the opposite we might say, or maybe seek information from opposing news sources or whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't clickbait, right? Or because there's certain things that will give you a headline. There's headlines. It's like, oh, that looks juicy, and it's kind of like it'll try to rage bait you, right? And like, oh, and people post something, and you're like, boom, boom, and you
gets me every time.
You have those keyboard warriors that will you just like mouth off when in person they might not say the same thing. So maybe don't engage on those.
Epstein funded UCSD. Click.
Yeah.
Oh, and you start reading the article. Oh, okay.
It has nothing to do with
that. Like that. So there it is right there. It is right here in this paragraph right here, right?
Oh, the last point.
Shift the goal from trying to win
to
trying to understand why someone might arrive at that conclusion you disagree with. And it reminds me of the old Abraham Lincoln quote when he was talking to his wife, because his wife, her whole family is Kentucky, and they were Southerners, right? Slave traders. That's how his Mary Tyler Lincoln got rich. And she was frustrated with like her brothers and people in the South, the viewpoints. And he's like, hey, be careful, because if you grew up like them, you would think exactly like them. I forget the exact quote, but that's kind of the metaphor. So he was
to understand.
He was sympathetic towards, well, if I grew up like them, I'll probably think just like they do. Yeah, that's reality. So that's what I really enjoyed about this club on campus. Highly controversial club on campus. I love. I've told kids. Some kids, hey, can I go to the meeting? Yeah, man, go to the meeting, check it out. Hey, talk to me about it. I love they're doing that because they're getting. I think it's healthy at this age, college level, to you taking information and you learn how to express it, and
but also,
hopefully to listen,
to understand. But also, why don't you agree with them and understand the points of views that they might be sharing? So that way, then you can further understand your own personal views, and then decide, you know what, I do still believe this way, but be able to explain why. Because especially when you're young, you get more emotional tied up because against the tribalism.
At that age, you're bonehead. You think you know everything.
But if you're exposed to different ideas, then you can further evaluate yourselves. Like, why do I feel this way? Why I think this way?
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it says instead of trying to win, which again, one of the things I've been guilty of, I was like, trying to win an argument or trying to win a debate.
Yeah.
It's like, better yet, how about we try to listen to understand, and then be able to maybe not agree with this.
But there's some things I just won't listen to, like people that eat well done steaks. I think they should be shot, but
they need special help.
That's right. Hey, eat some beef jerky. Quit messing with. You don't know this at the restaurant.
You get a steak, it's not carne asada.
Yeah. So
you got carne asada, you go to a taquero, that's carne asada, it's not a steak.
So this is exhibit A of even me. There's certain things that I just refuse to budge on, right?
Yeah.
But this brings us to it, right? My mind is already automatically closed off to any arguments against it. And this is, we're all guilty of this at some level.
Yeah.
And even evaluating your personality and mine, it was funny when reading through some of these things and just telling it straight out, yeah, you're guilty of this.
Yeah.
You're guilty of that. So us is what is as bad as anybody.
Yeah. I feel like I've always tried to be middle of the road. Like, okay, I like these ideas over here, but I also like these ideas over here. And kind of like pick and choose and add that to my plate, because I never want to be over here too much or over here too much. I like a little bit of this and that.
But every once in a while, we get triggered.
Yeah.
And here we are.
We're human.
Right?
We're human. I have my own triggers, and I know. So when I see something that might trigger me, I'm like, I'm gonna do Heisman instead. I'm like, I'm gonna remove myself because I don't want to trigger myself for that. So, but yeah, I thought it was an interesting article, because again, the nature of where we're at right now with the political environment and in the country and all around the world, but especially with certain things happening here locally. I thought
just sticking to our viewpoints and our viewpoints alone makes us dumber. It's not actual politics.
Mm.
Politics is just politics and religion, right? You don't talk to those
Life's
two
about
things.
balance. Great little balance for this.
I do not like balance.
So, anyways,
I do not.
I think that's a good spot to transition to the best of the week.
Hey, we're back, baby.
All right, so I'll go first.
Yeah, okay.
Best thing I've seen all week. I mean, I was gonna, of course, talk about baseball's back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my Dodgers trying to go over 3-peat. But I saw something that was like, this is amazing, and it was the launch of the Artemis 2, sent astronauts into space. And one of the things I saw recently, I thought it was awesome, is somebody was on a plane, and the pilot instructed those who were able to see to take a look out the window, and you can see the launch of the rocket from an aerial view come up and into space. Mm-hmm. And it kind of reminded me of a couple things. First thing, it reminded me like perspective, because whenever you see images from space or astronauts that take video or pictures from space, you can really kind of look at how small we are, and how insignificant.
Oh, we don't matter.
You know, like we're like a speck. You know, we're like smaller than a grain of sand in the universe
on the outer rim of the Milky Way,
and just kind of like I don't know. To me, it gives me perspective. It puts, you know, it gives me like, are certain things that important? Yeah. Like, does, you know, should I really stress over?
Oh, are we gonna walk on the moon? What's going on?
No, and here's why: I will never walk on the moon. That's the other thing it reminded me of. Is my
are they gonna walk on the moon?
No, they're gonna orbit the moon.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna orbit the moon and like look at the dark side of the moon. Like,
and that's another heated debate: was the moon landing fake? Right.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be able to see if there's equipment there or not, but still people will deny it. Why? Because they have joined the tribe. They have their mind dead set.
Yes.
This
that's a whole other can of worms we can get into. That I think it's fun and interesting. Yeah. But it also reminded me of my irrational fear of being in outer space. I know I'm never gonna go.
I don't want to go to space.
I don't want to go. But I'm like, have this like fear, like, oh, I'm gonna go to space. Like, I'm never gonna go. But yeah, I don't know. I just, the thought of it kind of.
I was 10 years old once.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it. So that's my best. My best of the week. Seeing that rocket launch, and they're going to orbit the moon, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. Science and technology.
Mine, of course, the easy one is my son and my wife are back at work, right? Some kind of return to normalcy, even though I don't know if we'll ever be the same. Definitely, that whole thing definitely gave me a whole different perspective, and the values and the things that matter, things that don't. Seeing that was cool, but also another thing's going on is besides opening day, is now I could go back to playing baseball in Mex.
Yes.
So I'm also looking forward to that.
Back to the Waddles.
That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen next week.
Are you wearing that one next week?
Yeah, that's it. It is the evil summer season. It's gonna be hot as freaking hell, but you know what? It's Field of Dreams,
baby.
It's a Field of Dreams. I'm coming out of that cornfield, and yes,
you build it.
Yeah. Okay, given I'm not Shoeless Joe, I'm gonna suck, but I'm gonna have fun sucking, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you put it best that way. So yeah, back to some kind of normalcy, and hopefully this means that we're back to doing this a little bit more. So, disappointing affirmation. Close it off.
Sure.
What you got?
I got one for you.
What you got?
Okay.
All right.
Just remember, kids, you were never alone. Anxiety and depression will always be there for you.
All reliable.
Such a special
They're
book.
So reliable. They're there when
book, yeah.
I can always count on my anxiety
to
be there when I don't want it.
Let's keep it real. All right, baby.
It's just another one.
Yeah.
Salud.